there are often opinions around affiliates being a dishonest channel, perhaps not reflected in this poll result when compared to paid search and SEO. To my panel, what do you think? Why do you think this is? And how do we move past the negative reputation that the channel's history has resulted in? And Shri, if I could bring you in first here, because I guess this is a conversation that you have with clients often.
I think historically there's definitely been that reputation in some cases, especially in the early days, because certainly was a bit of the Wild West, and affiliates would take over, and you know, brand reputation might be a concern. Let's say for some brands, and certainly with some advertisers. I remember, wasn't it ASOS who coined, one of the co-founders of ASOS coined the quote, "the grubby affiliate." I don't think that's the same landscape today. I think it's all got a lot more mature and professionalized. If you're a publisher and you own a site and you've got an audience, you know that to retain your audience, you need to have a professional outfit. And many affiliates are not one-man bands anymore. They're organizations, from voucher sites to big publishers like The Telegraph. And in my case, we're an on-site technology, and so we don't really get that kind of question come up. But I'm sure it's still a concern, because in any event where you're releasing your brand to others and saying, "represent me," there's going to be a concern, right? And that's where the crux of it lies.
Thank you. Lee, what's your perspective?
I kind of completely agree with Shri. I think, you know, I've heard some horror stories from years ago and things like that. But I think, like Shri's saying, you know, some of these publishers that are out there are huge organizations, and you know, we go and visit them and stuff, and their offices are bigger than ours, kind of thing. They are sort of genuine, kind of real companies. I think there's always going to be, you know, I think if you've worked in this industry for more than sort of 5 or 6 years, I think you're always going to have the horror stories in the back of your mind, because like we said, you know, there were some cowboys out there and things like that. But I think, again, it's like people are realizing the incrementality that affiliates can add to their business, and because of that, affiliates have had to kind of clean up a bit, and the ones that are left are the ones that are the cleanest, shall we say.
Excellent. Jess, having crossed over agency to SaaS, is there any perspective you can bring?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is slightly outdated. You know, affiliates is no longer an emerging trend. Like, we're talking 20+ years of affiliate marketing with established IAB standards felt across the majority of key players. And I think certainly from my experience working with Awin advertisers and publishers, this is sort of the IAB rules are very much there, so it's a lot more regulated. I think as a channel, we're also able to offer a high level of transparency around who advertisers are working with, so who the publishers are, and how much they're paying to the publisher, like with the metrics that we've got. IAB have recently published this year's report as well, and I know the latest survey found that affiliate marketing grew 8.4% year on year. So, you know, it's not a small channel anymore for a lot of major advertisers. I'm sure Lee can sort of go into more about that. But, you know, also comparing it to sort of the PPC side of things, the challenges around bot traffic is sort of synonymous with PPC and blind display networks. From that sort of CPC and CPM setup that we used to back in the day, where there isn't so much of a diverse mix of publishers. So with affiliates, obviously you can quickly spot the spikes and then in traffic and sales, and also like assess that. So it offers like a bit of control and brand protection and policing the space as well.
I think to add on to like Jess's point as well, I think when you compare affiliates to kind of PPC, like, you know, PPC is kind of hugely reliant on Google, and obviously everybody knows Google, and it's kind of almost a trusted name. Whereas, you know, with affiliates, when you've got, you know, what people think is just one guy running a voucher code site in his garage kind of thing. When you compare that to running something with Google, obviously you're going to go with the global brand that you know. And I think that is kind of, you know, that image is kind of worn away over time, and now people are realizing that, you know, working with something that's a bit more independent is a bonus.
Yeah. John, not sure if you've got anything to add on that. It might be worth thinking about the necessity of how having the affiliate channel in your mix is an important part of your brand diversification strategy.
Well, I think what at Lee's point is very valid, and a lot of people have gone down to that sort of Google default route. And actually what they're finding is that they've almost hit this sort of digital maturity point where actually the gains they're getting for every extra pound they're spending with Google are no longer returning the right amount or enough profit. So it's becoming less and less profitable the more they spend. So they're almost at saturation, and actually they haven't spent the time investing in other channels and other alternative sources of traffic for whatever reason. So I think it is a hugely important part of the mix. And then I suppose it's also measuring and ensuring that you measure that properly. So we're absolutely trying to help retailers have a varied mix, so they're not just reliant on one channel. So actually you can remain flexible. If the CPCs start going up, you can get alternate traffic.